Man, I am fit to be tied. I don't know if that's a common expression or hillbillyism or what, but it basically means I need a straitjacket. I think everybody can get that one. I never know because I didn't have like a wide circle, a social circle like ever, how many of these expressions hit or miss, but fit to be tied. It's like the destructive impulses. I can't release my creative impulses, so I feel like destructive, and it should not be around people. That type of thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good way to feel. Um, I incorporated into something that I wrote, but it's just something that I remember. You probably all know Thanatos, which is the character from the Marvel movies. Well, Freud believes that there was a death instinct and the life instinct. And he called the death instinct Thanatos or Thanatos, and the life instinct Eros, Eros, and yes, erotica, sex drive, love. So he's sex and death, you know. Um, and I think the creativity thing is actually linked somehow to your sex drive, because after all, that is essentially a creative act. But anyways, I got a bad leg, and I can't do a whole lot, and it's really it's starting to really fucking bother me. Also, um, I thought I had the sleep thing figured out just because I slept for one good night there, but I made myself stay awake all day. I was miserable all day yesterday. I don't even got that right. Today is Wednesday. This is how disorienting sleep deprivation can be. Is Monday. I stayed all awake all day Monday, and so last night would be Tuesday. I woke up at I stayed up all day. I went to sleep around 8 to 9 o'clock, and I woke up at 11. And was just awake, and I was like, well, I wasn't awake to go to the bathroom, nothing. I'm just awake. And I'm like, why the fuck am I awake? This doesn't make any sense. It's like I was sleepy as hell. I could have slept any time I wanted to during the day. And so I took uh, more gabapentin, and I think I took a bunch of drugs last night. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I don't know how much I took, but whatever it is, I ain't doing that no more. It didn't work. It doesn't work, and now I'm like super edgy today. I mean, I don't, I probably took 10 milligrams of Valium, and then like just one pill of the Neurontin or gabapentin, and then I took a 5 milligram pill when I realized that wasn't going to work, and went to sleep like 7 or 8 in the morning, and then woke up at like 5 in the afternoon. So I can't shake this insomnia thing that I got going on, and it's starting to affect me very badly. And I like, well, I try to be proactive. So I was like, yeah, I talked to my cousin in Florida, and I called him up, and he's like, well, yeah, I got about an hour to talk before supper time because he's working in the sawmill, but he had to do like heavy labor. And I was like, what happened to your old job? And they said, well, they told me they were going to stick me on that job. They changed me to this other job where I'm lifting lumber. And I'm like, and he said, I was handling it okay for the first part of the day, but by the second part of the day, then boards got bigger and bigger, and and you know, I, I just didn't even want to talk to him. And when do I not want to talk? So this is like DEF CON whatever the DEF CON scale is. Do you know that? Whether it's DEF CON 1, I think the higher the DEF CON scale is, the greater the threat to national security in the nation of Steve. So I don't know. I, I, I don't know. I'm just really aggravated right now. And I don't know if it's one of the times I don't know if I can talk my way out of it. I don't want to eat. I don't want to cook. I don't want to eat. Period. It's like I'm really really fucking aggravated. I had the guitar out and was playing the guitar some. Then I got the idea like, well, instead of this, sit around here or do I throw it on the floor? Anyways, I just got like one earbud that I put in my ear. I was like, I got a really decent set of headphones around here somewhere, but I have no idea where I put them. And I just cleaned out the drawers and those dressers over there. So maybe they're in this other place, in these other dresser drawers over there in the other room. I don't know. They don't seem to be in here, and I don't remember where I put them or where they're at. I know I wouldn't have thrown them away because they were pretty HQ. Um, I should just be glad, you know. Just look on the bright side. My heart seems to be functioning okay. I mean, I don't feel good, and yeah, it's enough with trying to regulate my sleeping schedule with pills. So I'm just gonna have to roll with it. I mean, I'm not taking a doxepin shit. You know, that's an effective sleeping pill that doesn't wear off for like ever. And then you feel awful when you wake up from it. So, um, the main thing is that trapped feeling, like not being able to express myself um, through physical activity or guitar or anything but running my mouth. And then I don't have anything good to say. I couldn't think of anything good to say on the phone to my cousin, who's like the best listener in the world. And yeah, I haven't got off my butt and looked at houses for moving because it's like I need to sleep. I need, like I said, man, I'm failing at the basics of life right now, so I need to get that straightened out. I got my prescriptions yesterday. See, I have to even think what day it is. It's Wednesday, so that was Tuesday. First thing this morning, I canceled the aid worker for Thursday. That just means I have to spend money because she can't clean house. I can't clean house. I'll probably try without aggravating my leg. And I've suffered with this Baker's cyst knee for like 5 years now. And it doesn't seem to me like it should be rocket science to figure it out. But like, you know, that's on here that when I was putting out maximum effort trying to get something done about it, and you know, people just didn't want to operate on me. I don't know why. Um, yeah, I should be glad my heart's cool and I don't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. And try the glass half full thing. But yes, this is like next level edginess. This is like you better stay away from people. I thought about calling my brother, but he gets on my nerves sometimes, and it's like, yeah, I don't even have any chamomile tea. Uh, so I did take 5 milligrams of Valium. I think I took. It's actually spaced out appropriately because That was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and put on these disgusting glasses. It's 9:04 at night, so you know that's not really why I'm edgy, because volume hangs around in your system longer. I'm edgy because of the not sleeping thing, and my leg is not good, and I have to figure that out. I have to do some kind of physical activity tonight, and it's not going to be fun. I have to probably wrap up my knee and stuff. So that's kind of funny. Like um, my cousin, who somehow managed to have a worse father than me, which my father always kept us fed and always kept the roof over our head, always kept the heat on, always kept the bills paid. Um, had a little bit of trouble after he got mandatorily retired unexpectedly, and my folks were not people that were savers or good with money. So yeah, that's when I went from middle class to possibly even upper middle class to poverty overnight. And I got familiar with raisin sandwiches and government cheese. And they give you honey at those like food banks places. They'd always give you honey, which was cool because you could have like honey toast sandwiches. And then I would like have raisin sandwiches. And they always gave you this big, huge block of government cheese. I don't remember what they gave you for bread. Those are the things that I remember eating, though. But when I was younger, of course, I was like a goat. I could eat anything. When I was really poor at one point, I ate nothing but pancakes for breakfast and spaghetti out of a jar um, for dinner. So I can't like really eat either of those two things anymore. Buckwheat pancakes. I don't even want to look at a buckwheat pancake. Um, because it's just cheap food. All you need is eggs, and I think you need eggs, maybe a little. You can use water or milk, so I probably used water. But anyways, um, I don't even know what got me on that. I'm not right. Uh, yeah, this is like torture, man. This not sleeping stuff, and I've had a full night's sleep, but I'm gonna be fucked up for tomorrow already, and I know it. And that's what's messing with me. It's like I'm not gonna be able to sleep all night. I know I'm not gonna be able to sleep all night, and it's like that. It's hard to sleep with chronic pain and CRPS, uh, highest rated chronic pain disease. So you know, it's like, oh, that's what I was leading toward. Was my cousin was like, I don't like to whine about things because he said that work whipped his ass. And I'm like, dude, that ain't whining about stuff. That's just stating the facts. I would like that's just the way he was raised, because I said that's how I got started on down that path. As I said, he had actually had a worse father than me, and he didn't have those things. He wasn't guaranteed. He was guaranteed a roof, but he wasn't guaranteed heat. They always had electric, as far as I remember. Um, they had like because they use an electric heater in the wintertime, and just all be huddled around an electric heater because the gas would be shut off. Um, or they wouldn't have the propane tanks needed to heat a trailer. I don't know. They lived in a trailer. Um, and of course, he wasn't always fed. So that's what got me on that track. Um, yeah, my mind is not. Yeah, I'm not coherent. I'm not like. I'm not together. And it's just. your brain starts malfunctioning when you don't get enough sleep. But I had enough sleep last night, but I'm not caught up, is what it is. Because maybe you know, after I thought I was moving out of here, and then I found out I wasn't moving out of here because of some weird regulation where if you give people thousands of dollars and pay them the rent ahead of time, you're not allowed to do it because you're trying to trick them somehow. You know, that's that place I wanted to move into had that weird regulation like, we'll sign you to a 3 month lease, but you're not allowed to do that because they think you're circumventing some kind of rules, that they have. And I didn't follow up, and I don't know if I haven't heard from the real estate agent guy, and I haven't called him. It's already Wednesday, but I haven't called him, and he probably just didn't even read the text that I wrote, because he's dealing with a lot of different people. And I've been playing my guitar, working on my guitar thing. Um, to send him to try to keep contact, because this, if we're gonna have any kind of a relationship as friends, we're just like a tiny little shoot that just opened up and sprouted up a little bit. We have a whole shit ton of stuff in common. A lot, some of it really bad, which I'm not going to say on here. But he was like, that's the reason why I open up and tell you some of these things, is because I know that you've been through the same type of things. And so, yeah, I mean, it's some heavy duty shit, but it's not my policy to put other people's business out on Front Street like the kids used to say 10 years ago. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But yeah, that's also irritating me, is like I'm not keeping in contact with that dude. And I haven't heard from him. And I've been burned a lot when it comes to like friends. Like thinking I would have friends, or like, people say things and they just don't mean them. And then like I had to let my friend over here go just because he'd do that all the damn time. We ought to do this and we ought to do that. And he'd make promises he wouldn't keep, besides dipping into my pocket. And then not taking care of my property and treating me like shit and whatnot. At some point, you're like, yeah, you're really not my friend. I mean, you're just a guy who uses me, you know? The best I could say for him is like if I ever needed like a trip to the emergency room, he'd take me to the emergency room. That's about the best I could say for him. It's like he wanted to keep me around because if I'm in the dirt, can't. How's he gonna borrow money off a dead guy? You know. But I've always had trouble with the whole friendship thing. Then I would meet people that he knew that we seemed to hit it off, but it never went anywhere. So, you know, I would like to be friends with this dude, but it's like I don't see how that's possible if, like, I'm a considered a psychiatric patient, and he's and like his job is like a caseworker, they call him, but he does stuff like help people find apartments, and I don't know what other kind of work he does. Um, but anyways, I'm just frustrated with the way things have been going for me because they haven't been going cool. And my brain is not good as far as like, it's not, I mean, not good in the sense of it's not its usual creative, fertile self. Uh, I have no, my brain does not feel particularly wrinkly these days. I remember like my little nephew is real smart dude. When he was a little kid, he found out about crenulations, which are the grooves in your brain. That's why they say like a stupid person has a smooth brain or whatever, you know. But he was like he turned to me once when he was like 4 or 5, and he said, "Do you know that my brain is gray and squishy and has wrinkles?" I'm like, yeah, actually, I kind of did know that. I said, I didn't say that. Of course, I said, really? He goes, really? My brain is gray and squishy. He said, the wrinkly part, my, my brain, my brain is gray and squishy and it has wrinkles. And anyways, my brain feels a little bit smooth now, which means if your brain is smooth, that means your speech and your pata will be less smooth. So, yeah, state of me is not a good state right now. And oh, yeah, I called up the uh, food stamp thing, or I just still call it food stamps, man. I'm living back in the 80s. It's just that you're they call it SNAP benefits, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. But it's on a credit card. But anyways, they went back to $16. So you know, I'm not complaining. I was hoping, of course, that it would stay at 178, but I'm not complaining, man. That was unlooked for money, and it paid my rent. So you know, I got 3 months free rent from the government with the $1,200 COVID check, and like I said, I got $1,556 just dropped out on me unexpectedly. I'm definitely not complaining about that. It's just like living here is not good for me, and the fact I don't have a doctor, I don't have an orthopedist. Um, I don't. I don't even remember right now where I left it as far as the orthopedic thing and getting my knee dealt with, um, which hurts all the damn time, man. It's literally all the damn time. I mean, just like moving it in bed, I got like two positions. I can only lay on my back in bed. Do you really want to hear all this? I don't know. I can only lay on my back in bed. It's my only viable sleeping position. I used to be able to lay on my right side and on my back. That was the two positions I could sleep in. But now I can only lay on my back. So I can only lay on my back, and my leg gets starts to ache if I hold it out straight, and then it hurts when I bend it at an angle and prop it up against the other leg, and then after a while that hurts too much, and then I got to move it out straight. And a Baker's cyst is just a painful thing, and nobody wants to operate on my knee, and operations are dicey anyway. I already know this, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It seemed to be, it seemed like it was doing better when I was walking on it. So I need to start doing that. And I quit doing that because, like I said, I wasn't waking up early in the morning, which is why I adjusted my whole schedule. And walking at night would wake me up and, you know, make me not sleep. So it's like, I was sleeping normal hours and waking up at 8:30 wasn't good enough for you. And I should have just like went out and I'm gonna have to deal with the people in the building and just went out into the covert COVID world at 8:30. Well, if I would wake up at 8:30, it takes me at least an hour to get to feeling like a human being. So you know, it'd be like around 9 or 10 by the time 9 or 10, 10:30 by the time I would be walking around. But yeah, I'm not. Um, you know, I thought about like having a guitar propped up in front of me, and then I couldn't find those headphones, but I was gonna play a little guitar, give you something a little more cheery, but this is a little more real. Because what you can do is I could actually set the headphones on the keyboard, and it'll pick up the distortion and stuff from the pedal, and then I can have the guitar propped over here, and you probably just see like this much of me. So I have the guitar prop. I have to prop the guitar over the arm of the neck, the arm of the neck, the arm of the chair. Then the neck's up here. So um, I thought about doing that, but then I couldn't find those headphones. And this is the real state of me anyway. Is the caged tiger, caged animal feeling. Like I have to be real careful not to break anything, not to do anything stupid. And yeah, no more of this bullshit about. I'm just gonna wait till I get sleepy and go to sleep. If that's 9 o'clock in the morning and I get sleepy, that's fine. I mean, I spent all last night doped up and awake watching a show called Godless, which is a western that's on Netflix that has like 8 episodes to it. The episodes are pretty long, but I liked it the first time. I must have been hungry for a western because it just irritated me this time because I could see all the flaws in it. But it has its moments, but I could see like how it could have been so much better, and it kind of like went down a standard path, and they could have like made it completely better and completely different. And I could see it was so obvious how they could have done that it just irritated me. But they had to have the final showdown that they were building toward the whole movie. You know, a movie that you might want to check out is the new movie, The Invisible Man, because that has an original ending. You don't get a lot of original endings these days. It has a very original ending, and it's a very good movie. Very enjoyable. I saw a horror movie called The Lodge, which was a genuine horror movie. In other words, it's not like, oh my god, I'm going to see something gross. It's like it gets under your skin and, gets to be like a little gnat buzzing around in your psyche, like nagging at you. You can just feel that unsettling feeling. But it was pretty good. It was called The Lodge. So if you want to watch a nice disturbing movie, that's a good one for you. It was nice, atmospheric, slow burn into kind of keeps you guessing a little bit as far as how it's going to end up. But um, you knew things were going to go bad. You just had, it just had that feeling about it. That this, yeah, that's not going to be a spoiler if you watch the movie. Believe me, it's like you just feel like this. It's just one of those movies. Um, that's enough of Steve's movie reviews. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of them deals. Like I said, there's some days you just can't talk yourself out of it. You have to force yourself to do things and just go through the motions for that particular period of time. I won't say day because it's not going to be day. It's already 9 o'clock at night. It's already dark outside. So it's not even forcing myself through the day. It's forcing myself through the next time period until I go to sleep. Just to do stuff like, okay, I'll eat something. I don't want to eat something. Might even cook an omelet. Don't want to do that. I already fed the cat, petted the cat. I didn't want to pet the cat. Most people like petting their animals and stuff. It's like, I talk nice to him and he doesn't know the difference. I'm just thinking like, petting him and scratching him, and he's always moving around and stuff. And I gotta try to avoid his ears because it wakes up his ear mites because I'm a bad pet owner. And I don't put ear mite solution in there for his ears. So if you're petting a cat with ear mites and you wake up their ear mites, they just start scratching your ears. So you have to be on your toes when you're petting him because he never holds still and he's always rolling around. And he's always like he's very active and stuff. He's an old dude, so um, his sign that he wants attention is like he rolls around. He just rolls around back and forth and looks up at me, and like it's funny. Um, he used to do something that's I think they call it a caparol in a horse, but he used to crack me up when he was younger. Like when he would like start off, just he would just run, but he would do like a little bunny hop at the beginning of his run when he was a younger cat. That was really funny. And you know how rabbits like jump up and kick their legs and shit. It's like a I think they call it a caparol in a horse, like caper with oil on the end of it. But it was a funny thing that he did. He would rear up and then like hop with his back legs and just take off running that way for no reason at all, just because he was young and full of piss and vinegar, and now he's old and he still likes being petted and stuff, but he's not doing no caparals. I can occasionally get him to do this thing he did when he was a younger cat, where I hold my hand up off the ground and he'll like raise up on his back legs and rub on my hand. That's about as energetic as he gets. So, uh, yeah. So I've actually forced myself to pet my cat and be nice to him and give him his food and give him a little cheese. They like dairy. Give him a little cheese and a little half and half, which is not supposed to be good for him, but he's a cat, so he doesn't have to have. He doesn't. That's why. Like sometimes when I'm consoling somebody that's lost a pet, it's like they don't have any existential crisis to worry about. They're not worried about no afterlife or like the deeds that they committed in life, or like I could have done this or I could have done that. They're very accepting of the whole situation. So, that's one of the things I bring up whenever I'm consoling somebody over the loss of a pet. And yeah, you, you still feel it because you're attached to them and stuff, but really, like funerals and such are for the living. So, yeah. But yeah, force myself to shave or to maybe a shower. It's just a going through the motions kind of day. I've got to force myself to do things, and it's just a chore. And then I'll be in a better frame of mind maybe tomorrow. My voice is already breaking up on me. Um, I don't have the. It's just difficult, Like when you can do things and you want to do things, but your body don't let you do things. You know, that's why it would be probably terrible. That guy was like, uh, I can't help thinking about that because I am really good at talking. I'm pretty good at psychology, so I might be good on the suicide hotline. But I would get really irritated with people. I'd be like, "Can you walk? Yeah. Do you have neuropathic pain? No. So what are you depressed about? Well, I'm just depressed. It's like I'm alone in the world. I'm like, yeah, I'm alone in the world too, and I got neuropathic. Yeah, or like they'd be on there and they'd be like, yeah, I just feel fat, and I'm like, you're fat, huh? It must be tough. You feel like you're ugly? Okay, I spent time as a kyphoid scoliosis hunchback of Notre Dame for a time. I got like scar tissue all over me. I would be good at the psychology part, but the empathy part, I would be like, get off your ass and develop your humanity. Work on your intellect. Quit worrying about this superficial bullshit. And that drill sergeant stuff when you're dealing with the vulnerable people is not good. I wonder if I had a supervisor. I don't know how suicide hotlines work, you know, but I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's for me. You know, maybe that guy said that because I have like a really fucked up, difficult life, and he knows a little bit about my past history. I don't think he knows the whole deal, exactly how bad it was. But he's like, well, if you found ways to deal with that, then you can help other people find ways to deal with their situations. But, your father ever kill anybody? You ever almost get beat to death? Oh, God. Yeah. So I'd probably just get irritated with people if I was on a suicide hotline. Be like, you want to trade? I'll trade you right now, man. Even up. I don't even know your situation or what you look like, but I'll trade you. Even up, man. You know, you think you want to put a revolver in your mouth now? But yeah, that's something I should make a point of doing. Though is giving that guy a call. I can't call him at night. I could. I'm not sure of boundaries. It's another reason I have trouble with friendships and relationships. Is I'm never sure of boundaries. You may get that from listening to me on here that I'm not sure of boundaries, of which boundaries to cross and which boundaries not to cross. Um, because I have, I kind of have like a different mindset than most people. I've been forced to. So, um, yeah, that's probably like one of the reasons why like I don't have much in the way of friends is because of the coming on too strong part. Because I'm like, yep, this is me. You know, I'm not going to go through any of the social nuances here. It's like when I would try to see, that's something I got to stop doing. I noticed that in the other videos. Instead of making hand gestures in front of the screen, I want to move my hands when I talk like John Madden. So I was hearing thuds of me thudding on the arm of the chair. So I'll have to stop doing that. Um, but yeah, that distracted me from what I was saying. If you're still listening, uh, yeah, I don't even fucking remember now. But yeah, the drugs thing don't seem to work for me as far as going to sleep. So I mean, it worked once. It was just a fluky thing. It worked once, and I don't want to take like too much of that, the rotten stuff. Anyways, even though like you can take massive doses of it, um, I got like 100 milligram pills, and I think that the top dose is like 1200. Or I don't know what it is, but it's a lot. It's like four or five, six times more than what I've been prescribed. It's like um, I could just take more of it, but it's like I don't want to do that. I think I just want to roll with like let my body be, because I think that's why I'm irritated right now. Is I'm trying to force my body to do things it doesn't want to do, and it just always reacts badly to that. So I'm just trying to force it to sleep in rhythms that it's not used to sleeping in, and you can't get away with that, especially when you got chronic pain. You're not going to get away with that. So um, I wish I could pick up the thread of what I was talking about before, but it's lost. And there's no instant replays here, so there's no do-overs either. Believe me, there's plenty of times I watch these and I'm like, I'd smack myself in the head, but the brim of my hat's in the way. Like, but I'm like, oh, you could have said this, and then like I said, I was on CRPS in the last video, like it's a drug instead of like having CRPS. I was on CRPS. People be like, "What is this CRPS? Is it anything like LSD? I might want to try that." Trust me, you don't want to try it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I just try to laugh at it. Laugh at the um, despair and stupidity of it all. You know, instead of like feeling resentful, like my life could have went this way or it could have went that way, I just laugh at it, like treat it like an absurdist uh, French movie or something. I've never seen a French movie. Why did I even say that? I don't think I've ever seen a French movie. But yeah, treat it like just a ridiculous thing. You know, treat it like when I was losing, I lost all that blood and they miscapped the IV, and I actually started laughing because they miscapped the IV and blood was coming out of the IV. Actually, that's not a lie. I just started laughing at it because it was ridiculous. And you know, laughing at this. I'm not laughing about that thing where like I found the apartment that would be perfect for me, but they had all these stupid rules in place to keep poor people out. I'm not laughing about that because I don't understand. I was explaining that to my cousin because I had talked to him for a while, but I was like, even if I paid everything ahead of time and they had guaranteed money, they would rather have me signed up to a 3 month lease and then worry about me making the rent each month than have all the money up front. I was like, what is that about? What rules am I circumventing? You know, maybe they figure they'll just have to spend more money on evicting me, but you, the eviction process, you're only getting like uh, they'd only be losing like a month worth of rent if I got evicted, and I don't know. I don't understand the rationale behind it. I probably won't ever understand it. Um, I guess I'll still, you know, I have to force myself to. I'll start out by looking at those places that the aid worker gave me and start looking again. It's probably why my sleep is disrupted. Is I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not. I have been doing little itty bitty things as far as moving out of here. Like I packed up a box, cleaned out the dressers, and made arrangements to move the scooters and whatnot. Though it's like I got to do that on somebody else's time frame. That could be why I'm not sleeping. I don't know. I usually don't have sleep. Usually I have trouble going to sleep, but once I'm asleep, I stay asleep. I don't wake up after 2.5 hours and say, "What the fuck?" You know. And I have bad eyes, so I look at the clock and I can see just by the amount of blur that there's too much blur on that clock. There's 4 digits on that clock. There should be three. So I knew like last night it was 11 or 12 midnight because I was like, there's too much yellow blur on my alarm clock across the room. I'm like, fuck, you know, 'cause, uh, I knew I was screwed. It wasn't by the way I felt. It was just like I knew that something. I just knew it when I looked at that blur. Too much blur, too much yellow in that foggy, hazy world that I'm existing in right now without my glasses. Because my glasses create glare, which is annoying to look at. I think, yeah. Uh, I've actually been talking for 44 minutes. I guess I am trying to talk my way out of a depression. Yeah, but I've done 44 minutes instead of what should have been 15 minutes. So I'll probably have to talk to my brother later tonight too. So yeah, that is how I kind of deal with it. Like, just look at it as instead of like getting mad about it and taking a front at it. or like shaking my fist at God or whatever. Uh, just look at it from an outsider's perspective, like, that's funny. Like the one person that said you hurt yourself by not falling, and then like they were like put a laugh out loud or whatever. They said it's funny, and I said, yeah, it is kind of funny. Like it takes real talent to hurt yourself without falling. Uh, yeah, I've done that a couple of times. I road rashed um, my my whole forearm right here because I was trying to keep from falling, and I grabbed the hold of the counter and used my upper body strength, and then I was slipping on something, and I couldn't get my feet under me. So it kept getting worse, and I kept sliding across the counter further and further, breaking that back and forth. And I'm like, uh, you know, it felt like I was slipping in butter. And then I thought about it, and I said, I could have actually have been slipping in butter because I really am, I really don't have the wherewithal or will to keep a clean house. So I mean, why would I clean this house up anyways if I'm going to move out of here? It's like I didn't know I was going to be here this long. So you have to understand, I grew up in a garbage pile, so it's all good, man. I grew up like I can remember like when I told you about like the way my sisters were upstairs, where it was like actual archaeological excavation cleaning out their place. It's like you were going back in time. It's like the top layer of garbage was like from 85. And then, by the time you got to the bottom, you were getting into the 70s. Then you're reaching out like old Inagata Devita album covers and stuff. And it's like an archaeological dig, And, there was one of the rooms that I had slept in. There was just a bunch of junk on the floor, and I just was sleeping on top of a mattress. I didn't sleep there all the time. I slept on the couch most of the time, but sometimes if nobody was in that room, there'd be like a little mattress in there. I think it was actually made for kids, and I'd sleep like curled up on this mattress on top of a whole bunch of not bed springs, just a whole bunch of like rickrack and old clothes and garbage and stuff. So yeah, so living in a filthy place that don't matter to me, man. Um, yeah, I kind of like just go outside of the situation, and look at it from the outside. The guitar thing is frustrating, but it's also kind of funny the way that worked out. Like I couldn't have fucked myself over worse as far as being able to express myself on the guitar when I was already working with it at a disadvantage anyway. Because my mom sang to me, and it screwed up my ears as far as pitch, because she couldn't sing a lick. Like I said, man, it was a trade off because she read to me all the time. I had a good mama. She read to me all the time, and she sang to me all the time. She read just fine. The other thing, yeah, the other thing was dog howling type stuff, man. It was she didn't have a clue. She'd sing beside me in church, and sometimes I would just look at her. I wouldn't be singing, just be looking up at her. And yeah, she's such a nice woman. I talked to my I talked to her sister, my aunt, yesterday, and she had to have an interpreter though. So her interpreter is her daughter-in-law, which is my best friend's wife. We had a really, um, I will say this out of respect for her instead of using the words I want to. She had a very unpleasant, difficult mother, and it had a very profound effect on her personality. But like my aunt is in her 80s, and she was kind of like foggy about things and stuff, and I was like, I got to figure out something that she'll remember, and I don't think her daughter-in-law approved as interpreter. But I said, do you remember when you had to clean up the apartments upstairs from where I was living, and you found that nest of rats. And she was like, yeah, I remember that. And I said, you had a lot to say that day when you came down the steps, and then she started laughing and stuff. She was like, in an old lady voice, she was like, how am I going to forget that? And, I could like sort of hear disapproval, like, why are you bringing this topic up? And it's like, you want her, the whole purpose of me talking to her, because they asked me to talk to her, and keep in touch with her. And they're asking a lot of people to try to keep in touch with her because she's losing it. She's losing touch with reality and she gets confused. And it's like, I'm bringing up the rats thing because that's something that she'll remember. And if you want her canoe to be tied to this shore and not drift off, that's a memory. That's a solid memory. Because, um, see, I used to rent off of her son, and there was a guy that lived upstairs that was crazy, and he kept pet rats and fed them and stuff. So when he moved, he ended up being a street person. I saw him a lot of times in downtown Canton with a rucksack on his back. He ended up like on the street after that. He wasn't obviously wrapped too tight if he was like keeping a family of rats for pets. But yeah, when he moved out, um, she used she used to live across the street from those apartments, and she would help out by cleaning up after people moved out. I heard like a screech, and then I heard thump 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 thump, which was her running down the stairs. And then I went out to meet her. And I'm like, "What's up?" And then she was like, "Don't remember what she said, man, but she had a lot to." I was like, "You had a lot to say that day yesterday," and she's like, "Yeah, I did." Because I guess the guy had him living in a hole in the wall or something like that. She was moving stuff around, and she unblocked the hole in the wall, and they all come out. And yeah, she ain't no Pied Piper, man. They didn't follow her down. Yeah, that was like the most useful thing I did yesterday. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. That's just uh, it takes such a degree of alienation to do that, to look outside yourself and think, to laugh while you're uh, bleeding in a hospital, or to think it's funny. Um, yeah, think your situation's funny, and even though it's tragic at the same time. Um, it's just frustrating that I don't get to do the things that I want to do that I used to be able to do. I had to give up a lot of things I don't want to give up playing guitar just because I'm uncomfortable doing it, because I enjoy it, and it takes up. You gotta spend your time doing something. I watched that TV show Stoned last night. I was like, I feel that horrible sense of a waste of time. Uh, but like, I don't think that's funny that I found the place that I want. I don't think I'll ever think that's funny, because I don't think that's fair that they should be able to dictate how much I need to live on. You know. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't even contacted the Brent dude yet. Actually, the one room apartment that is at the Stonehenge place is coming open. What is today? The 5th or the 6th? One of those. The 6th. It's coming open on the 17th anyway, so I could get in contact with the Brent guy. It's like, I think it's like $750 a month, which is, I pay $425 here. Like I say, if this wasn't such a nightmare and the guy didn't just let anybody in here, um, and I didn't have that poisonous relationship with him. It's like, this place was ideal when I moved in before he bought the building. Uh, and then he just decided to turn it into a slum. And he didn't have, I don't see where he had to do that. I don't understand the reasoning behind that. Maybe I'm not smart enough or devious enough, or maybe it's like, um, the area is good though, so I don't understand why people would have a problem with the area. It's not a bad neighborhood. Um, so it's not like better class of people or people with actual jobs or whatever wouldn't want to move into this building. Maybe it's the way it's set up. Like, maybe they're smarter than me, and it's like the way it's set up that's like the turn off. Because it's not set up for a trip. It's just a big house sectioned off into four things, and you have a shared hallway. Maybe other people are smarter that have more money than me, and are like, no, that's a recipe for not good. You know that I didn't really understand that when I moved in here. I really needed a place to stay in a hurry too, though. But I felt fortunate to find this place. So I don't understand his rationale for doing that. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, I don't think that's something that everybody can do, though. You know, is like they take life very personally. And yeah, they take life very personally, and it's like to me, like it's just I've had a whole plus I've had a whole lifetime of it, so maybe it's just practice. I've had a whole lifetime of like being outside of situations that are horrific, being thrown into horrific situations. So maybe that's why I'm able to cope in that way of just looking out, sitting outside my own situation and just looking at it from an outsider's perspective and being like, that is messed up, man. I mean, that's kind of funny the way that worked out. Like, I don't hold grudges against the universe, I guess. You know? I hold grudges against people. I actually do that. I've been thinking about, the ruined relationships that I got. Like, I know they're not healthy, and I know I shouldn't try to repair them, but my instinct is to try to fix them some way, and I'm like, it's dumb. I know it's dumb. I have to override those instincts, but I don't like that. And then you watch. You don't even need to watch uh, uh, somebody talking about that. You know, I was watching like Stevie Ray Vaughan actually interrupts the song to talk about, like how fleeting life is, and like you don't want to end on a bad note. I've already ended on a bad note with both my father and my mother, and now like I don't talk to my sister, and I don't talk to my foster brother, and like if we part ways, they die or I die. In other words, part ways. Um, that's the last chance for any kind of reconciliation or any kind of working things out. But I also feel like you're just asking for trouble. It's like there's a reason why that rift happened. That's there for a reason. And it's just opening myself up to more misery in the long run. At the same time, like I feel bad for my sister. That's getting a bit personal, though. But I don't know if I already covered that or not, but I ought not to say that, for the sake of another person. But you know, it's like don't draw other people into your conflicts and make them miserable too. And she did that. Like So I sent her a little note. And it was written on a strip of paper, like literally a strip of paper. And all it said was, don't you think, that this should stay between the two of us? More or less. I had to like edit myself a little bit there. You know, it's like don't make other people miserable because you're miserable. Just, you know, handle it or deal with it. Or if you're miserable to that degree, try call me up. I'm not an unreasonable person. Call me up. What do you think? Gonna attack you? You know? It didn't attack you before. So, yeah. It's like a therapy session. This is like a self-help therapy session. I'm trying to figure this life out. It's like there's a lot of obstacles here, man. High degree of difficulty. And, yeah. I really don't understand where I left it with the orthopedist, man. I wonder, their offices are closed now, though, because my doctor's offices, are closed. My doctor done heading for the hills. Like I said, as soon as COVID hit America, he went on, Dr. Joseph A. Cook, he went on permanent leave. Um, but my doctor's offices were still open, and I think I had an orthopedics, Omni Orthopedics, maybe, if I wanted to reboot that and try that over again. But I think I might actually attack it through the Cleveland Clinic. And, once I get this situation straightened around, and I know you're probably thinking, this motherfucker been talking about getting this situation straightened around for a goddamn long time. I understand that. But, you know, it's like I can go to the Cleveland Clinic. Like right now, I don't have any doctors but a cardiologist and a dentist. And I've been to the cardiologist's offices before. So I don't think a cardiologist will refer me to an actual, uh, primary caregiver, which I don't have a primary caregiver anymore to refer me for my CRPS. I don't know if a cardiologist can refer me for my CRPS to the Cleveland Clinic, but I should go to the Cleveland Clinic and see what's available, treat it as an adventure, and see like what can you do for my miserable ass? Like what can you do about my knee? Like because it don't work and it hurts all the damn time. And the other leg's all fucked up with CRPS, and my right leg is all fucked up with a Baker cyst type of deal in the knee. What can you do for me? But they always want to pill you up, man, and like that's why I had the gigantic bottle of Neurontin. That's like the go-to neuropathic pain medication. They don't consider the fact that maybe you want to be yourself. Maybe you want to have your own brain. This isn't like not taking your lithium for manic depression. This is like altering your consciousness just so you can cope with pain, but then you're really not you anymore. You're the stoked up motherfucker that's just laying around watching TV and shit. I've already been through that when I was young, when I was taking tranquilizers. I was taking tranquilizers for the effect because they had a dual effect of supposedly uh, dealing with helping you sleep. I'm talking about doxepin now, and helping with neuropathic pain. But they were like, for me, they were like lights out type shit. Like, you wake up and you don't know what week it is. You know, I've slept as long as 17 hours when I was younger on those things. Not high doses of them either. So I just keep a bunch of those around here as a suicide pill. If it has to come to that, which, I'm going to keep fucking around and trying. It's stupid maybe, but I want to keep trying. Um, like I said, I just treat it as a really unpleasant adventure. And I've been through so many medical procedures, I can't even begin to tell you. I probably don't even remember them all. Even if I could try, I couldn't remember 'em. Excuse me. Shit about water. And maybe I'll spring. I do have to order some stuff because I always got to order cat food all the damn time. I have a big bag of cat food, but my cat's old, so I like to give him soft food and mix it in with the dry food. Or actually, I don't even do that just in case his teeth aren't, because he just has big puffy cheeks, and it's hard to tell if it's, if he's got teeth issues or not, or what his deal is. But sometimes he doesn't eat so good, so it's expensive. I like to buy him the soft food and then put it on top of the hard food, not mix it together. So if he can eat the hard food that gets touched by the soft food, or eat the soft food, that's neither here nor there. That's about me spending money. But yeah, it's it's not fun. It's not an easy life, man. I try to have a good time. Always try to have a good time, and it's always been my way to obviously try to talk my way out of the moods I'm in. And it's always been my way to look at things from an outsider's perspective. Like, I don't get offended. I mean, I feel a mild twinge. Like when somebody said I had, or the potential friend guy said I had CRPD or something like that. And I'm like, and I corrected him and he said, well, CRPU, CRT2, R2D2, whatever it's called. It's like, not really funny, man. Yeah, I felt like a twinge. But I think it's funny that he was that flippant about it. That he was that callous about it. It's like, well, probably didn't do the research. Um, it's not really funny. Um, yeah, looking outside the situation of being in chronic pain, it's only been really bad the last 13 years or so. So since 2003, I had it easy. Like 2003 is when I had a major event that I don't talk about that blew up my life hardcore. And then like that winter, I remember I became more inactive. I tried to reach out for emotional support, and they sent me big bags of dope. This is what I do when I have a problem. And so I smoked a bunch of dope. I remember that one winter, and I became inactive. And then pretty soon, I started having unusual pains in my left calf, or my left thigh, that I never had before. And then my symptoms got worse, and then I started having, yeah, that's when I said that, like, my father literally broke my heart, because it was like 2000. I can almost figure that out, but I don't want to have a big pause in here for you. But I had a period of 10 years between arrhythmia episodes, so I could actually figure out when I had my first episode. But it was after 2003, where a catastrophic thing happened that just changed everything for me. So my chronic pain wasn't really, I could laugh at it, you know, before then. And I think there's a video of me here laughing about the ridiculousness of it, like from 2013. But since I got the bad knee like 5 years ago, it's no laughing matter anymore. I really can't stand outside. of it, laugh at it. I just laugh at the results of it, like you know, um, doing the thing where I'm falling and I have one coffee. I have two coffee mugs in the house, right? So I take my one coffee mug, and you always want to throw whatever you got away from you so you don't fall on it. Because if you fall on something like a coffee mug with your ribs, it doesn't feel too good if you're heavy or relatively heavy. So I threw my coffee mug away from me just randomly, which hit my other coffee mug off of the counter. They both hit the floor and hit each other and broke, and then I had no coffee mugs. I was drinking out of a measuring cup, which you've seen me on here. If you're a long time listener, as they say, you've seen me on here drinking out of a measuring cup. And there was a period of time where I had no coffee cups, and then my niece got me a coffee cup around Christmas. Either a birthday or a Christmas present. My birthday's on the December 15th, so it's the same thing. I was one of those kids that, this is for your birthday and Christmas. Thanks, cheap guy. Can't get me two gifts. Gotta get me one and just say it's for both days. Thanks. Okay, can I do that? Because your birthday's in September? And, yeah. No, that's what you could do is like, your birthday is between October and Christmas, so here's a bunch of candy. That's your this counts as your Christmas and your Halloween candy. You do that to a kid. That'd be great because then you get all the discount post Halloween sale candy. Where you get all the leftovers cheap that the people didn't buy up. Um, yeah. So I tried to talk my way out of it, talk my way into a better mood, but my voice is failing me, and I got to get something to drink, get some food in my belly, and call my brother and tell him the bad news, which he's probably not going to be able to apply for any benefits because if I didn't get if they drop my food stamps, I'm going to keep calling food stamps out of habit. Habit is as strong a force as life itself, as the expression goes. If my SNAP benefits dropped back down, that probably means he isn't eligible for any relief either. So, that's probably like bad news for him, though he could go to a food bank if he wanted to. He, unless those are closed too, I don't know. Um, been a pretty chaotic situation here. Um, yeah, so not one of my funnier or cheerier videos, but they can't all be like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that's something that people can either learn to do because they have to, or it's something they can learn to do, like you can learn how to do, I don't know, you can learn how to have more self discipline, or you can learn how to do uh, auto mechanics, you know, and fix cars. I don't know if you can fix yourself that way if you have depression, to where you can just look at it and kind of be like, this is a fucked up situation I'm in, you know. Um, like, I think it's funny, for instance, that I pay my brother $200 to give me bed bugs. I think that's funny because it's just the irony involved is like, I'm trying to be a good dude, trying to help him out. I need my house cleaned. He needs money. I overpay him a little bit for cleaning up my house. He does a really good job. But I end up with bed bugs because he hitches a ride at somebody's house who had from in a car uh, that belongs to a house that has bed bugs, and I actually paid for the car. So I paid $1,000 for the car that drove him over here and gave him $200. Let's see. Let's get this right now. We got to get this right. I paid $1,000 for the car that was the bed bug infested car that he drove over in, and paid him $200 to get me bed bugs. So, that's kind of funny. I can look at that and I can say yeah, it's just, you just kind of have to shake your head at that. It's like, what's, that one person that I used to know had that expression, God's got jokes. Uh, yeah, see, I can look at things like that, you know, instead of getting angry about it. But like today I was just angry. Before I got on here, I was just angry. I was like angry, angry. It's like irritated, like breaking shit, angry. Like I have to be careful, you know, because the kind of shit where you're like, I'm also claustrophobic, so I'm like, I had the impulse when I was playing guitar when I was uncomfortable of like shifting around. I'm like, yeah, that'll be good. Like shift around and break this window over here with the head of your guitar, or scratch your guitar all up, and then have no window, and you break a window, and then have to have this landlord come in here and deal with his stupid ass to fix the window. You know, because you do that when you feel like all edgy like that. You ever feel like that? Well, I've done it several times with a house phone, where I've just talking to somebody and they piss me off, and I've just thrown it across the room. The one time it was funny. It was like the guy was not even aware that he I was pissed off because he's so oblivious, and I threw it across the room, and it hit the wall and was spinning on the floor, and he was saying hello, 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 while it was spinning around in circles, and I'm just sitting there, just swearing up a blue streak, but he can't hear me because he doesn't hear too good, and he, that phone spinning around, and he's going, hello, hello, you still there? Yeah, you got to watch that. When you're edgy like that, you got to watch. You gotta have that impulse control. Not to like. If you're me anyway, not to. Well, when I was a kid, it was when I was younger. It was like not to take a swing at a guy or start shit with people or lose my temper. And when now it's more like not break things since I live alone. It's like don't like follow that impulse you have of hurling your stupid free phone across the wall, breaking it into a million pieces, because then you won't have no free phone no more. Don't jerk your guitar sideways into the window just because you can't get comfortable with it, and you keep fucking up what you want to play. You know, uh, yeah. I don't know how redundant this was, but it's time for me to go and get something to drink at the very least, because I got my mouth feels like the Sahara Desert right now. And I'll check in tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have better news for you as far as my state of mind. But this is therapy session number 387. Uh, Year of our Lord 2020. Date May 6th.